I spent close to $20,000 going to film school. It cost a lot of money and I spent a lot of time there. So was it worth spending all that money and time? In this video, I discuss if going to film school was worth it. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about, should you go to film school? Is it worth it or is it not worth it? I've been a cinematographer for over 10 years and involved in media production for about 15 years. My main work over the years has been commercial and corporate cinematography work, but to get to that point, I've worked in numerous positions from assistant work all the way to producing roles. I've worked on multiple feature films, both on set and in post-production, as well as music videos, TV shows, wedding films, documentaries, and much more. I now run a Toronto video production business as well as a few other media-related businesses with Alli. So with all this experience in running businesses, I'd say I know the industry pretty well. So how did I get to this point? Did I go to film school? I spent close to $20,000 going to film school and countless hours working on a ton of film school projects. Like most, I went to film school because that's what you do. You go to college or universities after high school and it starts your career. Your parents, relatives, or older friends all went to post-secondary schools and they swear by it, saying you need to go to college or university to make something of your life. So that's what I did. I followed in their footsteps and signed up for film school. The problem was they weren't me, and the industry they work in probably wasn't the film industry. Throughout high school, I was a sponsored skateboarder, and like most skateboarders, I was trying to get noticed. So I bought a camera and taught myself how to film and edit. By the last year in high school, I had produced 3 feature-length skate films, and I was really proud of them. They weren't perfect, and the production value wasn't very high, but I did have a premiere for the second video where I made 100 copies of the film and managed to sell them all. Since I had developed a strong interest in filmmaking by the time I was 18 or 19 and had several years experience by then, it was only a natural progression for me to think I could make a career out of it. So with influence from others and the education system the way it is, where that's just what you're supposed to do, I applied to a film college with a portfolio of media work that I'd put together over my high school years. The film college I went to in Toronto offered me a scholarship of a few $1,000s, and of course I was super excited by this. So I enrolled, paid nearly $20,000, and started to change my focus away from skateboarding and into filmmaking. During college it was fun. I did meet some great people and some great teachers. I got to play around with a lot of gear that I didn't even know existed and learned a lot about how the video production world works as a whole. I was really hopeful and put my heart into every class. I took it really seriously because that's what you're supposed to do. And then I graduated. There were no jobs for me. There was no money being handed to me. I had all this hope and excitement and eagerness to get involved in the film industry and grow my career, but there was just nothing waiting for me, or at least that's how it seemed. Even though I, like most people, were conditioned that you go to high school, graduate, go to college or university, then you start your career and everything just works out. Looking back, I guess things did work out for me, but the point in making this video is things could have worked out a lot faster. If only I had a little more knowledge or guidance from people along the same career path as I. In other industries, a higher education is important, but for me and my experiences, going to film school is not necessary, and I believe that to be the case for about 90% of you. Also, when I graduated, I got a diploma. So you might get a diploma or a degree depending on the education that you get, but no one has ever asked me when I'm quoting a job if they can see my diploma from film college. It just does not happen. Nobody cares. All that they care about is if you can do a good job at a good price. Honestly, when I graduated and there was no work around, I felt so blindsided by the education system that I almost got out of the film industry. So with all that being said, what does that mean for you? Should you go to film school? Is it worth it for you? I think for a small percentage of aspiring filmmakers, it is an okay idea to go to film school and you will receive value from it if you have extra money and are still trying to figure things out after graduating high school. But if you already own a camera, have camera equipment, and know roughly where you want to go within your career, then I would not suggest going to film school. In film school, I was taught about crew positions and the overall productions of union sets. And eventually, when I graduated, I was super excited because I was going to be a director of photography in the union and work on big Hollywood productions. But when I started doing more research, I realized that it would take like 10 or 20 years to work my way up through all of the crew positions, starting from production assistants, assisting cameras, focus pullers, cameramen, to eventually becoming a director of photography like 10 or 20 years later. But not only that, it would be 10 or 20 years of locked in, really hard work on one path. So after 5 years, if I decided that that's not the direction I wanted to take, I'd have to start all over. Now, I know a lot of people in the film industry union, and for them, they're very happy. But for me, I decided to stay away from the union and instead got an internship at a local production company working for free. And looking back, I wish that's what I did instead of going to film school. I wish after high school I was told that instead of spending $20,000 on film school and all that time, instead research local video production companies, connect with them, ask for an internship, and work for free. Doing this, you'll gain actual hands-on experience that you can't get from a book or in a controlled classroom. You're not going to learn all that much about film history though, so if you're into that, then you might want to consider going to film school. Also, when you're in film school, your teachers are not likely to hire you when you graduate. However, when you do an internship, you're working with company owners, so there's a way higher chance that you'll get hired. You literally might have a job waiting for you at the same company you learned everything from. So that's what I would do if I was starting over. I'd save 20 grand, I'd avoid going to film school at all costs, and instead I'd buy some entry-level film equipment. I'd shoot every single day to gain a lot of experience that way, but I'd also get an internship and offer my value for free in that way. Over time, I would learn a lot about the film industry, I'd get hands-on experience, and that is invaluable. You cannot learn that in film school. And to further that point about filming every day, I definitely recommend doing that because every single day that you film is an extra piece of footage that you have, that you shot, that you learn from, and that can only benefit you long term. As for the type of production company to intern with, I would suggest starting with a wedding production company. From there, then you can work your way up into higher end production companies that do more commercials or feature films. I should note though that the feature film side is most likely union, so if you want to work on the big budget stuff, you'll have to go through the union route. A big point in all of this to not go to film school is while all of the other film school students are getting to know their teachers, you're actually spending time getting to know actual film industry contacts. While you're doing your internship, start building your demo reel immediately. I personally think a demo reel is more important than your website or a business card or even sales skills. Like I said before, when you're filming every single day, it's going to build up a lot of footage that you have, so include your best shots in your demo reel, and this is the #1 way that people are going to find out about you and see your work and then eventually potentially hire you. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful to you. If you're thinking about going to film school, this might add some clarity to the idea and the discussion. Consider what I'm saying, and you might find out that interning is actually a better way to go, and you'll gain a lot more valuable information working with a production company as opposed to getting to know your teachers in film school. We put out new videos about cinematography and editing and filmmaking in general weekly, so if you want to learn more from us and stay connected, then hit the subscribe button and we will see you next time.